All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rachapadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways that's pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, Yasharahla needs a complete reset, right? Yasharahla meaning is the Paleo Hebrew or the ancient Hebrew word for Israel, right? Yasharahla meaning Prince of Power, right? Or Prince with Power, right? And I got a video clip here I want to play. So Lord willing, this video lesson is edifying.
Like I said, it just seems like the black community is not getting better, and it's never going to get better. The black community will literally be like this in a loop until the end of time. If nothing has changed in all these amount of years, it's just never literally going to change. You're still going to get that same ingredient of ghetto. The only way, unfortunately, to break the cycle is to go biracial. You have to go biracial to erase the wrong virus. Blame our fake-ass black American culture. Blame the music. Blame the extreme hyper-materialism culture that we have, if that's what you want to call culture. Blame the role models. What do black chicks got even to look up to? Cardi B and Sexy Red. It's just going to be a never-ending cycle. A lot of those black boys you see that are obsessed with NBA, their fathers are not heroes. If you grow up black, 9 times out of 10, we don't look up to our dads. We look up to the niggas that are on TV, the rappers, the black motherfuckers in movies, the athletes. We don't look up to our fathers because the niggas just go to work, come home, and say, man, don't be out there doing dumb shit. That's not enough to really look at your father as a fucking hero. If your dad is an ultra successful person, you're going to look at that person as your hero. But if your dad's an NPC, the posters on the wall are going to be your famous people. Every time one of these stupid clips get posted on social media, it just resets the black timeline every single fucking time. You said if you genuinely think your race causes you to do things, you might be one of the dumbest people alive. I mean, you might be a fucking idiot. For one, you're a non-sub. For two, you're watching me. So you're just a peon to me. So what you said actually didn't make sense too, because your environment is what makes you do dumb shit. You're stupid as fuck, by the way. I'm a grown man with way more shit than you'll ever accomplish in your life. So you're a in chat. You're also banned. You're a peon. You're part of the problem. Like I said, it just seems like the black community.
All right, so you saw the clip. He said it seems like the black community is never going to repair itself or come into a better state, right? Which it's true, it's not, right? The so-called black culture has been, has definitely damaged the community in a very unrepairable way, right? And black culture in terms of the nigga shit, the rap culture and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Now we do have a lot of history here in Babylon the Great, and America, Babylon would not be what it is today unless it was for Israel, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right, starting with the tribe of Judah, the Negroes, right on down. This country would not be what it is today without Israel, just as the same as back in the ancient times. Egypt wouldn't have been what it was without Israel, because this country was built off the backs of our people, and we do have a very, how can I say it? We got a lot of history here that is honorable, and we can look at with, with some reverence and respect. But as of today, when it comes to this so-called black culture that we see portrayed on the media, on the internet, and in real life, if we want to be honest, and not to say that there isn't pockets of what people would like to call black excellence and everything like that. But if we're being honest, the majority of the culture, man, the majority of everything that we see out here in the media, in person, in real life, online, and everything like that, it's a bunch of nigga shit. It's a bunch of nigga shit, and it's a bunch of degeneracy, right? And this is the culture that we see. This is what's going on out here in the streets. This is what's going on out here in everyday life, right? And you got to be real and honest about that. You know, we got to be real. We got to be honest about what's really going on out here in the so-called black community, right? Salakia. Okay, Salakia. Now I was looking at something here. But we got to be real honest about what's really going on out here. And what we see is just a bunch of degeneracy, man. What we really see is just a bunch of degenerates, a bunch of niggas, you know, with no knowledge of themselves, no knowledge of who they are. Just going out here and living life. Now, some have good intentions. Some have the intentions on doing the right thing. They just don't have the knowledge. They just don't have the guidance. But you got a lot of motherfuckers that's out here. They just really don't care. They don't care about life. They don't care about other people's lives. You know, they just out here living life in a reckless manner. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's going to be, and the Lord is going to clean this all up, right? Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah is going to clean this all up with a hard reset, right? You know how when you if you got an iPhone, you can press the 2 volume buttons down and then press the power button, and then your phone a restart, and doing that is called a hard reset, I believe, right? Israel is going to get a hard reset, right? Through what? Through nuclear destruction, through famine, through Jacob's trouble. You know, Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah is going to cleanse out all of the wickedness in Israel, right? The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children," right? See, our people reject the knowledge of the scriptures. Our people reject Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah, right? They reject the prophets. In turn, they're rejecting Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah. And you see the results of that. You see the results of what's going on out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just living in pure ignorance, right? And at this point, is willfully, because the word is going out. The word is going out. The men of the Lord are out here on the streets, on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, and on various different social media platforms. The word is out there. So there's no excuse not to get the true understanding and knowledge of the scriptures, right? There's no reason to be a nigga. There's no reason to be a nigga in these times, because the word is going out. The word is being preached, right? A better way has been shown to you, and it's up to you. Well, it's not really up to you. It's up to the Lord. But if the Lord allows, you know what I'm saying, you will take heed, right? But, you know, as I just said, we also got to remember, too, it's all up to Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah. It's all up to the Lord. It's of the Lord's doing whether you come in and receive this truth or not, right? It's of the Lord's doing whether you take heed and truly understand the truth of the Bible, the truth of the scriptures, you know. And if you don't, and, you know, that just means that the Lord don't want you. The Lord doesn't see you fit to have this truth, to have this knowledge and wisdom and understanding, right? And people will say, what's so good about having this truth? Well, number one, the best thing is you come back into knowing who your Lord is, to knowing who your true God is, who the true creator is, his name, and understanding his will. right? The second best thing is we know the future. We know what the near future is going to bring, right? And I'm going to do a live lesson, Lord willing, tonight, going into what's going to happen in November with this food stamp crisis, right? With this government benefit crisis, where all of these women are going to be taken off of, or not taken off, but, all of these people, mainly women, are not going to receive their government food stamp benefits here in November because of this shutdown, right? So, that's going to have a major effect and a major impact on how things are in this country, right? Because it's a lot here. It's a lot of women who receive those, food stamp benefits, right? But let's go here, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power." Right? It says, "For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decrees shall overflow with righteousness," right? So the remnant is the elect. And this truth, this ministry, is only for the remnant. It's only for the elect. It's only for those who the Lord has chosen from the foundation of the earth to get this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? And to be able to take heed and take not take advantage of, but take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't even see this as an opportunity. A lot of people see the truth as a nuisance. A lot of people see the truth as something that is what you call it, something that is a hindrance to their life and their quote unquote progress here in Babylon the Great. Right? Because a lot of people want to stay here. A lot of people think that this is the best that it's going to get, when the Lord has a whole lot better for us. The Lord has an entire eternal kingdom awaiting for us. Right? That's what you should be looking forward to. See, here we're here in Babylon the Great, right? Where everything is polluted. The people are tainted. The food is polluted. The air is polluted. The water is polluted. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you touch, has these forever chemicals in it. You know what I'm saying? Everything is, everybody is tainted in the mind. The men are weak. You know what I'm saying? The women are out of their fucking mind. So this place is hell. This place is hell. But a lot of you Israelites, you want to stay here. Let me find this one scripture. Salakia. I believe it's in Proverbs. Yep. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18. It says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he," right? See, these people have no vision past Babylon. These people can't see or fathom a reality of Babylon the Great no longer being a thing, no longer being here. Right? These people can't really fathom that. So they focus on staying here in Babylon. They focus on what they can do here, what they can have here in Babylon, right? And people don't understand that this place has a near end, right? This place, this country that we see, right, has a near end, right? I'm in Texas right now, in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and just being down here, man. This is a state full of Babylonian pride, right? And when you learn about the history of Texas, Texas wasn't even a part of Babylon originally. It wasn't even technically, Texas technically was a part of Mexico, but through what, the Mexican American War, I believe, they took Mexico and annexed it to the U.S., right? And it's a lot of Babylonian pride here in Texas. Just being down here I've been down here for a day. I was up a little further north, a little bit north of McKinney and Anna, Texas. And I had to deliver in Grapevine. Now I'm picking up here like in the Fort Worth area. So, I'm seeing it's a big place, huge place. This whole Dallas Fort Worth area is huge, right? But it's a lot of Babylonian pride here. It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is my power," right? So there is going to be a purge of the 2/3. This is what this is talking about. The 2/3 of Israelites, right? Starting here in Babylon the Great, starting here in America. A purge of 2/3 of the nation of Israel, Yasharahla, is going to perish. Now they'll be reborn in the kingdom in their righteous mind, right? In their perfect bodies. But this is what has to happen now. Because niggas can't go into the kingdom in this state. And that's why we got to be changed, right? Those of us who are in this truth and are sincere in this truth, that's why we have to be changed. We have to be changed from these vile bodies into the new bodies. These vile bodies can't go into the chariots. They can't go into the kingdom. That's why the Lord is going to give us new bodies. But the Lord is giving us an opportunity over here on this side to prove ourselves worthy enough to receive that reward. Right? So we got the opportunity and we got the chance to prove ourselves worthy to receive that reward. While these other, these others of our nation, man, they don't really have that opportunity. They have the opportunity because they're Israelites, but the Lord is not putting the spirit on them to receive it. The Lord is not opening their spiritual eyes to be able to see this truth and see the value of this truth. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And we see that the Lord is beginning to visit this place now, right? Lord willing, these food stamps or this government shutdown remains, throughout November and December. You know what I'm saying? In this quote unquote, this holiday season, right? And we'll be able to see the effect that it's going to have on, number one, Babylon the Great, but especially you 2/3, especially you proud ass nigga women, You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of women that's out here on food stamps. Ask me how I know. There's a lot of them out here on food stamps, though, man. You know what I'm saying? And even if some of them have jobs, they use the whole food stamp thing as a supplement, right? Because a lot of them they got kids, and a lot of them don't really have jobs to be able to sustain all of the kids that they have. You know, even if it's a small number, it's like one or two. You know, a lot of them don't have jobs, even though they try and tell you that, you know, the nigga woman is making, you know, astronomical amounts of money and shit. And they balling on you so-called black men. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of them on food stamps and shit. And another crazy thing is that narrative is out there that so-called black woman is balling, you know what I'm saying, making so much more money than you so-called black men. But I've never met a Jake like who has gotten himself on food stamps. Now he may be using his baby mamas, he may be using his girlfriends or something like that, but I've never met a Jake man go down to the office and put himself on food stamps. If that's capable. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly how that whole thing works, but I've never met one. You know what I mean? But verse 3, it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? So the Lord again is beginning to, bring uproars of the people. Right? We had that No King's Day protest all over the country. You know what I'm saying? This is uproars of the people. This whole government shutdown situation, that's eventually going to bring uproars of the people. If it continues to last, you know what I'm saying? If it continues to last as long as, months on end, this is going to be hell for a lot of these people. Especially these people who rely heavily on these government benefits. Verse 5, it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, right? So that's the only way you're going to escape. See, these Christians, they tell you, oh, we don't receive salvation by works. You just got to have faith in Jesus. One, they don't know what salvation is, because they'll say, all right, a wicked nigga done dipped you in some water, and you came up and you hollering out thinking you got the Holy Spirit, and now you say you saved. That ain't salvation. What are you saved from? You know what I'm saying? And then they say it's all just by faith. Well, faith without works is dead. What are the works that you're supposed to be doing? There's a couple of things, right? If you're a man, if you have faith, if you're a man, you preach this word. You know what I'm saying? If you're designated by the Lord to be a teacher or a prophet, you teach this word, you prophesy, you break down these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And then you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? If you have faith, then you will do your best to do what's pleasing to the Lord. Right? These Christians say that they have faith, but they do everything that the Lord is against. These Christians allow, you know what I'm saying, moles in their church. They eat the shrimp, crab, and lobster. A lot of these Christians, adultery is cool. You know what I'm saying? They let the women rule over men in the church. They push that independent woman thing and all that stuff. Women being in power, women being over men and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's that ain't gonna get you salvation. It's a combination of faith and a combination of works. They both go hand in hand. Verse 8, it says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, right? The Lord has sanctified the elect from the beginning, or the foundations of this world. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not but despised it, right? And these 2/3, they despise this ministry. You got a lot of these, and you got IUIC, doing these marches, at some 2819 church gathering or whatever, which, we don't agree with it. But what it also has done, it has also brought out and exposed how much a lot of you so-called black Christians, you despise this truth and you despise this ministry. And really has shown how much of you are loyal to Esau, right? It's really exposed how loyal a lot of you jakes are to Esau Edom and his wicked system, right? Because I guarantee you all of those in that 2819 church, unless the Lord bring them out of that, and though all of those that despise this truth in this ministry, and you despise seeing, Hebrew Israelites, and you despise seeing this word being taught, I guarantee you all of them are going to take that chip. All of them are going to take that microchip, the MOTB. And you're going to receive the judgment in Revelation chapter 14 and 9 on down on what's going to happen to you if you take that mark. Right? Because what does this scripture say? Verse 12, it says, the same must know it after death by pain. So you 2/3 are going to die a painful death. Right? You're going to die a painful death, right? Let me find this one. It was in 2nd Ezra 16. And it reads 2nd Ezra 16 verse 21. And it reads, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, right? So you 2/3 are going to get it either way. If you escape, it's like, if you escape the famine, the sword is going to get you. Right? As the scripture says, he that escapeth from a lion or a bear runneth into the house and stand on the wall, and the serpent bit him, roughly paraphrasing, right? But that's what's going to happen, man. The Lord is going to get you either way. If the Lord got destruction in your future, if the Lord has destruction for your for you, the Lord is going to get you, man. Yahweh Shai is going to destroy you. It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 18. It says, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver, right? Let's look at this word dross. It says a moving back or away, dross, usually of silver. Strong's definition, it says, from H5472 in the sense of refuse, scoria, dross, right? Which refuse is trash, right? Let's go into the Edom online and look up this word refuse. Right, it says reject, spurn, decline. Right, a request, demand, invitation, also intransitive, to make refusal. Right, give back, restore, return, literally. It says pour back, flow back. Salakia. And if you see, like, it's basically going into rejected, the rejects, right, or trash, right? Because if you go to Salaki, if you go to like any city and you see trash trucks, right? The trash trucks that have refuse on the side of it, right? Or the refuse department, or whatever it is, right? And the refuse is all of the rejects, the trash, the things that you don't want, the things that you throw away. You know what I'm saying? So these 2/3 are the rejects. They're the trash of Israel, right? And the Lord don't want them. The Lord don't want nothing to do with them on this side. Verse 19, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because what do you do with trash? You know, a lot of landfills have what? Incinerators. Or if you ever lived in a high-rise apartment building, you know, you throw the trash down the chute. And a lot of places at the bottom of the chute is an incinerator. And it burns the trash, right? It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you, right? The Lord is going to leave you 2/3 here in Babylon the Great, and you're going to be utterly melted. You're going to be utterly melted with nuclear fire, ICBM missiles, right? Thermonuclear heat. That's the judgment for niggas. That's the judgment for these 2/3 of Israel, right? Who don't want to get right with the Lord, who don't want to follow Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, who want to stay in this mindset of being a nigger. You know what I'm saying? They want to stay in this mindset of just you know, being degenerates, right? So if you hear this word and this word resonates with your spirit, now is the time to come out of that, come out of your old ways. Now is the time to turn from your wickedness, right? Now is the time to take heed to these scriptures and to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? So look, man, Lord willing, this video lesson was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. And until next time, Shalom.